Day 47 of making a platform fighter. Hey, new month and new month goals. Current goals for this month are to basically just throw in 4 incomplete characters in the game that can at least walk and jump. Have character swapping actually in there. Try to block out one section of just using blocks, and to start working on an asset list. Day 48 of making a platform fighter. I was originally not going to do anything today, but I figured I might as well do something easy. So I opened an empty script and started writing down stuff I'll copy paste for the next fighters, so I won't need to write down all the states I'll be in. Day 49 of making a platform fighter. The original plan for online networking was to use Unity's default networking solutions because I want to focus more on the offline parts of the game. However, all the 2D games I've ever coded, including this one, were made using physics and rigid bodies, and that might have some issues with online networking. Thus, I need to do more research into online multiplayer solutions. Day 50 of making a platform fighter. Kind of busy today, so I was just moving variables to player stats from character stats, so character stats can just be used for anything that can be damaged. Also, depending on how I feel about the project in September, I might just use the default Unity multiplayer for online. Day 51 of making a platform fighter. Just working a bit on the second character. Hopefully I can get something working before the end of the week. Day 52 of making a platform fighter. After watching some Blender tutorials, I realized I'm going to need a rough sketch of the characters I'm going to model. Instead of doing my original plan which was just to use a bunch of random reference materials for modeling. So I might try and force myself to draw every day this month. Day 53 of making a platform fighter. A bit of backstory. The original idea for this game was a Metroidvania, but all the items were playable characters, set in a D&D world I made a while back, which would also need to some neat co-op shenanigans. But the characters I designed were NPCs for that world, so current plan is to make a bunch of 2-sentence description character ideas and see if they fit the current theme better. Day 54 of making a platform fighter. Working on the Heartbeat fighter today and got this funny error. I'll fix it tomorrow. Day 55 of making a platform fighter. Tired, it's late, but I fixed that stupid memory leak that I have no clue how it happened, and no skipping for the player. Day 56 of making a platform fighter. Just fixing some bugs and making it so the same fighter appears when you switch levels. Day 57 of making a platform fighter. A decent amount of stuff done today. Fixed some bugs where the characters were getting stuck on parts of the level, and swapping kind of works. But I'm also having issues with platforms again. Day 58 of making a platform fighter. Yesterday I mentioned I was having some problems with the platforms again, so today I was messing around with some other ideas, and I found a video talking about pass-through platforms in 2D, and I figured, hey, there should be like a 3D version. So now I have them, and it kind of works. Day 59 of making a platform fighter. Just bug fixing some of the characters, got a shield to work on one of the fighters, and the ability for the sword fighter to pass through platforms. Also working on fixing some of those platform issues. Day 60 of making a platform fighter, and I am so happy. Finally, after so many failed attempts, I got platforms working exactly how I want them, with the player being able to like crouch twice to quickly go through them, and to be able to like jump through them but not fall through them. Now I just need to figure out how the player acts when it turns around. Day 61 of making a platform fighter. Now that platforms are working, I want to think of a way to make the actual platforming of the game to feel better. And I'm now realizing why not many people try to make a Metroidvania with multiple characters. Since if I want the platforming to feel good, I would need to tune it to a specific character, but since there's multiple characters, I can't make it feel good for everyone. Also, it doesn't help that I am having issues right now with the player running before they hit the ground. Day 62 of making a platform fighter. I was doing some more refined test on the player to test some edge cases, and I found that sometimes even though the player visibly was above the platforms, like in the code they were below it, so now I need to find a fix for this problem. Day 63 of making a platform fighter. Did more testing, and I found out the issue with the platforms was the trigger, and it registering the player's collision and how it did that. So after messing around with the platforms. I think I got it working, but I am never saying I got them working exactly how I did until I do more rigorous tests. Day 64 of making a platform fighter. Yesterday I wanted to make a build of my game to show to some friends to playtest it, but I kept getting issues of it running on my phone, and after tweaking a bunch of different settings, I found out I might need to upgrade my version of Unity to get support for current version of Android. Also, I am terrible at debugging Android stuff. Day 65 of making a platform fighter. You may have realized I work in an older version of Unity, specifically the one from 2021, because it was a version of Unity I was working on for my last game, also the whole Unity controversy last year. But after reading up online, I figured I might as well update to the latest version of Unity to make the mobile builds easier. But I did make a backup just in case stuff doesn't work out with that version. Day 66 of making a platform fighter. After upgrading stuff and failing to make an Android build, I decided to try and make a build with a different project to see if it's the Android tools or something in the project, which I accidentally worked on for a little too long. Day 67 of making a platform fighter. After getting the test game working yesterday, I tried editing stuff in the original game file and built it out. You know, I'm just happy it's working. Day 68 of making a platform fighter. I was a bit busy today, so I was just noting stuff that I wanted done for the game, which made me realize I am focusing a lot on the single player side, and I do want to look at the versus side, or at least get something working, which I'm probably going to do this weekend. Day 69 of making a platform fighter. Okay, new short term goals. Get dash attack and neutral air to work on the sword fighter. Due to the fact that most of my testing has been just with movement in platforms. Also, I need to play some other platformers to see how they handle the edge or ledge. Day 70 of making a platform fighter. A while back, a viewer suggested I use switch statements instead of if else statements. Since I was adding more moves, I figured it would help with optimization. However, I'm realizing how bad I am at naming things. Some of my naming schemes use dash and dodge for just walking on top of other stuff. So yeah, fun Sunday. Day 71 of making a platform fighter. Got everything switched over to switch statements and it's working. Got dodge rolls working, got jab attacks working again, but dash attack is still kind of weird and just teleporting the player forward. Day 72 of making a platform fighter. One thing I realized while working on this game and with some of the dash attacks and other animations is I can't really edit the animations. Now, the way I have it currently is I just have a script that just sets the animation instantly so everything's snappy. But I'm realizing I probably need to use the actual animation window to get it working how I want it, and I'll have to be looking into that. Day 73 of making a platform fighter. Just some editing to make switching characters on mobile work. Also fix a bug where if you held down attack, the player would keep attacking, so now it's just one click and it should attack. Day 74 of making a platform fighter. I was a bit busy today, so I ended up just messing around with the Android version of the game, and I'm realizing the difficulty of doing really precise platforming on a touchscreen. I might need to just force the player to stop when they're about to run off a ledge. I don't know. I'll figure out something to make the platforming feel better. Day 75 of making a platform fighter. I was trying to fix this bug where if the player ran off the platform but their hitbox was still on the platform, they might get stuck. And now I accidentally broke jumping. Day 76 of making a platform fighter. I was trying to fix a bug where the player would get stuck on the edge, but in that time I broke the player controller, broke double jumping on the sword fighter, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be more future issues with platforms as I had to remove a redundancy to make it work. So yeah, fun times. Day 77 of making a platform fighter. Wow, that month went by. Looking back at my month goals, I realized I didn't get all four characters moving, but I have been blocking out a level and working on the asset list. However, I do realize I do need to work on my art skills. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me for these last couple months. I'm also probably going to do the September and August recap video just so I have some easy videos to make before I go on vacation, which should appear on your screen right now. Well, not when this video goes live because I still need to edit them, but yeah, thanks again and take care.